Hello, my name is Bruce Schwedick, and I am the Director of Reptile Discovery Programs. For the past 50 years, I have been sharing my experiences about reptiles with audiences in schools, in libraries, and with recreation organizations to help them develop a better understanding of these unique and wonderful animals.
Okay, Bruce, thank you for giving me this time to share with the audience.
It's completely my pleasure, Alejandro. Thank you for having me.
You've been and you are a crocodile specialist group since a long time ago. I'm sorry about that.
It's okay. No.
But the thing is, you started and you still are working in education for kids.
Yes.
Can you tell us how did you start with this? What is the objective that you took for this issue, and how
Certainly.
you do?
I was exposed to reptiles by my older brother Michael, and we began learning about them in our school library and in the public library. We read books like The Boy's Book of Snakes and one of the classics, Living Reptiles of the World by Ingers and Schmidt. Back then, a lot of the books didn't even have color photographs. We read about reptiles in the World Book Encyclopedia, the World Wide Web of our era. And we spent a lot of time in the reptile building at the National Zoo, the Smithsonian's National Zoo. Not only did we observe the reptiles, but we got to meet the keepers, and we would ask them questions. We became lifelong friends with them and exchanged information during all of that time. My brother read a book called Cobras in His Gardens, the biography of William Haas, the founder of the Miami Serpentarium. And he just started writing letters to Mr. Haas, and Mr. Haas invited him to visit. And then while he was there, said, "It's Christmas time, it's busy, we need some extra help. How would you like to work here?" So my brother worked at the Serpentarium on several occasions. And even though he was only with Bill Haas for a very short period of time, something must have rubbed off because after he graduated from high school, he began providing educational programs about reptiles for our local schools and recreation centers and anyone that was interested in learning more about reptiles. And we realized later, many years later, that he combined the skillful and gentle way that Bill Haas would handle the reptiles, even the dangerous snakes, with the unique manner in which his wife, Clarita, would present information in a way that it was easy for the general public to understand. So with the help of our dad, he created a flyer about an information flyer to hand out, and he dropped it off at a local nature center. This was in 1972. He got a call.
At that time, you owned the reptiles?
We had a small collection of reptiles. He started with a small collection that he kept in the biology lab of our high school. But even to keep them there, he had to follow 3 rules that we still follow today. Number 1, he had to take good care of those animals, and that meant learning more about them. Number 2, he had to make certain they could not escape. Some would say that's number 1. And number 3, he had to get up in front of the class and tell his classmates about the reptiles. And that's really how it all started. So he got a call back that afternoon from our local Park and Planning Commission, and they asked him if he would like to bring the reptiles to all of their sites through the summer. And he was visiting 5 to 6 different locations each day. He had 1 hour to start, and by the end of the hour, he had to be at the next location. And that was the summer of 1972. They've had us back every summer since then. So this will be my 49th summer that I'm starting in Maryland in 2 weeks, and my brother's 51st summer. And I said, when I tell the kids the story today, I said the only way I can explain that they invite us back every year, I said, we must be doing a good job. We try to get to the sites on time and be professional and keep safety for the animals and for the audience, number 1.
Okay, what is your feeling about the first reaction of the first kids that in your presence have the contact with the reptiles?
Well, I have to be always mindful that some of them have never seen these animals before. I've had kids leave the room in horror just to see a tortoise because they had never seen anything like this. And but I would generally have to be mindful that some people are still very nervous about snakes. Some people have a slight phobia, and some people have a severe phobia. So we would never, just bring a snake out casually, especially around a group of people. You never know how someone might react. So we start out slowly with the turtles, and then the crocodilians, of course, which has been my lifelong focus, and then lizards and snakes. And we talk about their general characteristics. For those that we feel it's safe for the students to have contact or the kids to have contact, they have a chance to touch them. And we explain, for example, when you touch a tortoise's shell, they can feel that. And many people wouldn't imagine that they could possibly feel, that they could feel it when you touch their shell. And so that's the general approach. It's just a general introduction to reptiles. Because now I've been based in Florida for many years, we talk about alligator safety, and I start with the science. I looked at the scientific articles which describe the circumstances under which people were being attacked by alligators in Florida. People swimming alone in the daytime, people swimming alone at night in lakes, people swimming during the daytime with a dog or just with one other person, children playing alone at the water's edge, adults working alone at the water's edge, golfers reaching into the water hazard to retrieve their golf balls. So this is what the scientists have documented. Scientists like Alan Woodward with the University of Florida Research. This is what has been documented. So we look for the scientific articles and we bring that information into our presentation. So I can say to the kids, is it safe to swim in the lake at night? And of course they're saying no. And is it safe to swim alone or with a dog or with your friend? And I explain a lot of people in the water splashing would probably scare an alligator away. But one person splashing a little bit might attract one. And though they normally don't bother people, it happens. I also explained that in Florida, lightning strikes are much more dangerous than alligators. And then also another topic we hit on is venomous snakebite and snakebite prevention, and how prior to the pandemic, snakebite was designated by the United Nations as a neglected disease around the world. That the people that get bitten most often are the people that have the least access to medical assistance and to anti-venom. So that in countries like India, they're focusing on snakebite prevention, and that's what we have always done by advising people to use a flashlight or their cell phone light at night, not to walk through bushes or tall grass where they can't see their feet, or to put their hands in places where they can't see what's there. And then, of course, what to do if you're bitten by a venomous snake. And I explain it's the same for any emergency. Try to stay calm. If you're with someone that's bitten, reassure them that they're going to be okay, because often the bites are not fatal, not potentially fatal, but they're very frightening. So reassurance is an important step in first aid. Telling an adult that there's been a bite, and also if you're bitten, get away from the snake. Don't let it bite you twice. So reassurance, notifying an adult, prompt medical attention. And then I explain to them, if you're with someone that's bitten, you have to reassure them constantly that they're going to be okay. And if you're alone, as I've been when I've been bitten by a venomous snake, you've got to remind yourself. You have to give yourself reassurance. So these are all things that we integrate into our presentations.
Okay, Bruce, thank you very much.
You're very welcome. Thanks for having me, Alejandro.
Thank you.
You're welcome.